Denny, take it away. I'm going to put this out there. Don't forget to change your name to your name, guys. Thank you, Brian.
Yes. Well, thanks for being here. Denny Grimes, Master of Real Estate, with my co-host, the voice, John McLeod, and we're going to have a kind of a cool class today. We always wanted to give you something new and maybe go back and revisit some things we've been teaching you. As you know, if you've been on the class before, what we want to focus on is mastery level role play. In other words, mastery level conversations. And if you want to reach out to John or myself, this is my email for my mastery class. Denny delivers training at Gmail. Denny delivers training at Gmail. If we can add value to you in any way, you want to maybe an individual one-on-one conversation, you have a situation that's come up, or you have an appointment coming up, we can role play with you if we have the time to do it. We love to pour into people. So what we do, this is our our form of jiu-jitsu. It's called question-based listening enhanced conversations. And drum roll, I don't know if I announced it last week or not. Thank you so much. We've now crossed the 500 in the YouTube subscribers, on our way to 5 million. So we're going to get to 5 million maybe by Christmas. That'll be our goal, 5 million. And if you haven't subscribed already, I did show you this last week. Share it with a friend. That is the fastest way. You take a picture. I'll leave that up there for a second. Get out your phone, get out your Polaroid, take a picture of that, and it'll take you right to the subscription of Denny Grimes, Mastery of Real Estate. And I'll give you a second to do that.
If you really want to get high tech, get your Etch-a-Sketch out.
You say that, John, but you say that, but you are too young to remember it. Don't make fun of older people on the call.
Now, hang on a second. I remember getting Etch-a-Sketch a couple times for presents when I was growing up in the late 60s and early 70s. So yes, I am old enough to remember Etch-a-Sketch.
Well, you know, when I got my Etch-a-Sketch, I can tell you, I just said, Mom, that's remarkable. I had no idea I was naming the future Etch-a-Sketch called the Remarkable, right? All right. So John came up with a really good point. So John, I'm gonna go through my thought of the day. And one of the role plays what I want to do is what you did with our team today, because you had a very good thought. Does anybody ever work with someone who's renting? And we've talked about that before. John had a pretty good thought. So we'll come to that in a second. I would like to give you my thought of the day because I learned from you guys. And my point today and my thought of the day, get out your pen, pencil, lipstick, mascara, or your, what do you call those things that you used to put notes on? I forget. I don't know, the forerunner to a phone. Anyway, take some notes. The word of the day is clarity. Clarity. I know if you're part of Keller Williams, you've gone through BOLD. What's the BOLD law, John, on clarity?
Clarity is power.
And it works not only when you work with buyers and sellers, it works on your family. It works. I mean, it's awesome. Your conversation is so much better. There's so much more understanding when there's clarity. It's very important. Now, what we've done, and I hope we don't get in trouble, we all know the model. You should have this on your vanity plate on your car. The model is 4 steps. You acknowledge, then you isolate, answer, and close. We're going to slow it down a little bit. And it reminds me of I love YouTube. Anybody watch YouTube? You can watch anything you want. People surviving in snowstorms, people who rescue dogs, people who grow pot, whatever you want. I don't watch that one. However, it's on there. And one of the ones I watched this past week, I can tell you right now, my favorite movie used to be Hunt for Red October. Right now, it's Top Gun Maverick. If you haven't seen that movie, you got to go see it. I bought it.
Sandra apparently liked it. Her face lit up when you said Top Gun Maverick. So
who did?
Sandra Marconi. She lit right up on that one.
Let me tell you, you got to go see the Elvis movie. If you have never seen Elvis, it brought back great memories. Keep going.
Yeah, but I heard that Tom Hanks got criticized in that. I just heard that last night. So here, let me go on my point. So I'm watching this, and I'll get on with this, you guys, for your Ds. And I'm getting on it really fast here. This one guy specializes in watching moves at 0.25 speed, watching movies at 0.25 speed, and he finds the little things that maybe you don't see. And so he took Top Gun 2 and he broke it down in some really cool, what he calls Easter eggs. So what I want to do with the model, I want to slow it down to 0.25 speed, because we have been doing what we're going to be talking about here. However, we've never kind of categorized it. John said, well, you ought to just put that in the model. So John has a voice and a brain. And so here's what I mean. So if you want to take some notes, get out your camera, take some pictures of this, because this is what I want you to kind of follow as the format. Some of it's new, some of it's not. The acknowledgement. John, your co-host, there you go, thanks. The acknowledgement, I stress this a lot. There's more than one way to acknowledge. However, many people, particularly if you're a little bit nervous, want time to think, you will over-acknowledge. Don't over-acknowledge. It's just simple, I understand. Isolate is just about as many words, maybe one more word. There's 3 words instead of 2. And it's always the same to begin with, other than that. So you want them to unload the car before you unpack the groceries, right? Now, here's where we're going to slow
Denny.
it down.
Denny, since you're, before you jump into this, let me just polish that a little bit. The other than that question becomes, other than that, what else are you concerned about, or what else is keeping you moving forward? It is not, other than that, do you have any other concerns? Never ask a yes, no question following other than that. It has to be a question that engages conversation. Does that make sense?
I'll change the slide, John. Good point. So
there you go. And now we're on to the addition.
here's the new stuff. Here's the new stuff. Part of the isolation, here's the danger. Don't do this until you isolate. You get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, right? Once you have all the other than that's what is keeping you from moving forward. If you've got multiple ones, the question is, what's your main concern? Once you get to that, they're going to say blank. Here's what I want you to do. Here's the step that I want you to kind of put in the model so you can do it. Clarity. I promise you, and we'll practice it today, whatever the objection is, basically the last one, whatever they say, there's going to be ambiguity around what they mean by what they said and what you interpret as what they said. And sometimes if you want to know why objection handlers don't work, it's because we might be handling an objection they don't have. So we're going to make sure we emphasize this today. Tell me more about that. And that could be a series of questions. John, you talk about all the time in our training, what do you call the, how many questions you want to follow up with?
5 deep. And how I do it, guys, is I have either 5 paper clips or 5 pennies on one side of my desk. So when I get to the center of the Tootsie Pop, as Denny says it, I say, okay, great. Tell me more about that. Move one over. I've just asked one question. Then they'll respond, and then we dig deeper. Why is that important? Or what will that do for you and your family? So on and so forth. Move another one. I found it isn't until you get a minimum 3, most of the time 5 deep on their objection, that you hit the emotions.
Yes, remember, they have a picture in their mind of something. So think of a jigsaw puzzle. And how hard, it's much harder to do a jigsaw puzzle if you don't have the picture of the box to know what you're working from. And so that's what those questions will do, because we want to have a better understanding of what's in their mind. The reason I say put an asterisk by this, do not go to clarity before you isolate, because you're going to go deep and gain clarity on one of the things that concerns them. It may not be the only one, and it may not even be the main one. So we'll practice that. Then this isn't new, although I did put it into a slide. This is also part of the clarity thing. Clarity slide is you go to motivation. What will that do for you? How will that make you feel? You're going to find out logic and emotion. Remember, logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. The next part and the last new part I'm going to add so we can systematize this. We need one more bun. We need the bun to finish our burger here. All right. The bun, the bun is going to be, the bottom of the bun is, where's their pain? You have to help them see the pain and make, if they stay on the track they're on, if they're making the decision to sell, not to sell, to buy, not to buy, or whatever it happens to be, there is the alternative to that. There is the opposite of that. We have to help them see that. So we're going to work on that. We'll do a couple of role plays, and John's going to bring out his great idea, and we'll role play that a couple of times. So John, what did we did last week? Were you on last week?
No, I was. You
were helping the hurricane victim.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have a list. I've got some different objections here, and some of the same ones. And so I love to have people that want to come up and learn. I have my timer set here. I don't know if it works. However, I need some people to raise their hands that they want to be an agent. and actually be the agent, and we will then. We'll
All right, we've got Tanner and Natalie.
Tanner and Natalie. Okay, anybody else?
And Shannon's raising her physical hand, not her digital hand. So this
raise
is
your
good.
yellow
We got
one.
all kinds of people jumping into the fire today. Love it.
Bettina
Okay.
wants to too. Put her down, John.
Put Sandra down too.
No, put Bettina down.
Bettina, awesome.
Figure out how to raise my hand. Okay, yes, I'm in. I'm in.
There we go, Denny. We got 4.
All right, well, good. Well, then first one up is, who's the first one up, John?
Natalie got her hand up first because she's in the top left corner.
And she was the first one on the call. She was on the call waiting for this to start at 10 a.m. I love that type of excitement. Okay, so Natalie, okay, so you are first up. So you get to pick a number between 1 and 10, and I actually have 13. So 1 and 13.
11.
All right, that won't apply. All right. Now you're at an interview. I need someone to be a buyer or seller. So this is the easy part. Now you get to inflict pain. All the pain that buyers and sellers have been given to you. Now you get to inflict a medley. Okay. So other than the people that have their hands up, because you're going to be the agents, I need a volunteer to be a buyer or a seller.
I'm good at volunteering people, Denny. So if no one steps up, I'll. I see Sandra's got her hand up. Good.
And
Sandra's
Brian-
our first one.
Oh, Sandra, she should have her yellow hand up. All right, Sandra, you're gonna, all right, so you're gonna be, you pick it out. This is the objection, Sandra. You pick out buyer or seller, okay? The objection is you're meeting with Vandalay and you say, because look how she's got that baby face. She looks very young, like she just got out of high school. Your objection is you're concerned about that. How many sales have you had? So that's your objection, and you can be a buyer or seller. What you want, Sandra?
I'd like to be a seller, please.
All right, let's see if this works. It will be the first time in my life my timer's ever worked on screen. Are you ready? Here we go. How many sales have you had? Oh my gosh, it's not working. I'll use my.
I
don't
got
know.
it, Denny.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, go. Oh, I get to the model. Follow the model. There you go.
So,
Sandra,
Sandra,
just give the objection, Sandra.
So you want me to go and say, okay, so
Yeah, how many sales have you had?
so how
Just
many
say it.
sales? So how many sales have you had, Madeline?
so this year I've had short of 10. Sandra.
Okay, how long have you been in the business?
Been in the business for about 4.5 years now.
Okay, that's a little concerning to me.
Okay.
The amount of sales and maybe the experience that you've had in order to be able to sell our home
I
at the
understand.
level that we need it sold.
Okay. Other than that, is there anything else that would prevent you from listening with me today?
Well, I think that's a pretty big issue for our family because we don't want to be handing over the selling of our home to someone who's very inexperienced or has not, been involved in the market very much. This is our money and we want to make sure that it's well protected. And I'm just not quite confident that you have that capability of doing that for us.
Okay, I understand.
I'm helping you. Look behind me.
Clarity. Okay. So tell me more about that. What does that look like for you and your family?
Well, it's not so much about what it looks like. It's about just having the confidence in you. The fact that you are younger and that's, it is what it is. We just have invested a lot into our home and we need to make sure that we've got somebody who's going to fight for our money just as much as we would.
So help me understand, Sandra, what would you be looking for in an agent to make you feel comfortable in order to list your house?
Well, I'd like to know your numbers, list a sales price. I'd love to visit with some of your clients to see what they've had to say about you as well too. Obviously your marketing, I want to see that it's a proven track record. And I just don't know that you've had enough time in the industry in order to do that for us.
Okay.
Now, John, pause the
I'm
timer.
in
for
my
a second.
head.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Let's pause the timer for a second. Let's sidebar. Now, this is for everyone. Everyone can participate, and if you can get your camera on, that's awesome. I want you to, we can pause. It's like a VCR. Yes, I remember.
We're
VCR.
at 2.5 minutes, by the way, Denny. So she's got a
Okay.
minute and a half to land the plane when we start back up.
Yeah, okay. What's going on here? Now, let me ask this question. How many people have a lot of clarity on what's going on in this seller's mind? Tell me what you've heard.
At the end of the day, she wants to make sure that we can help her to get a number she has in mind, or she wants to make sure that she nets a certain amount of money she doesn't want to lose.
Maybe, but I don't know that she said that.
She's trying to, you know, as the seller, she's trying to show that she's trying to do a lot of research before making a decision. And it's not about the number of sales. She's trying to go into the route that she's too young. I would say that, you know, the average agent sells, you know, maybe 5-6 properties a year, and I already did 10. So I don't understand what you mean when you said that you don't have enough track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Denny, that's a great point. I wrote that down, Denny.
All right.
Is-
One more comment.
She's looking for experience.
Yeah.
Based on numbers. Oh, how many homes she sell? She wants somebody experienced.
Okay, so before we let her land the plane, if you think that's what it is, and it may be, we're not 100% sure because we only took 2 minutes, right? It's not like you can understand everyone to the core in 2 minutes. However, what question is rolling around in your brain? And this is important. This is an important point I want you to remember. What question would you have Mandalay ask next?
Okay. What
What would show experience to her? What would she need to prove that experience level so she could get the deal?
Who said that? Who said Ames?
Amy?
Amy.
Amy, you're
Mhm.
right on track. If someone is attempting to compare something, well, what standard are you going to use to have the comfort level that you're experienced enough?
Right.
So I'm going to let you take the next minute and a half and lead with that question and see if we can't get some clarity around that. It's okay if we don't get to the close. Let's just see if we can get closer to it. Go.
What is okay?
What is the question?
What is the question?
Go ahead, Amy.
The question is, what would allow me to prove that experience to you? What would you need to feel better about the experience?
Okay.
I think Mandalay, what I'd like to see from you is number one, like I said before, your list to sell price, your marketing. And I think too, that the fact that you have closed 10 people, and I think that's awesome that you've done that. But I'd like to speak to your clients as well too. You know, would you be willing to let us speak to some of your past clients to see
Oh, absolutely.
how well you
Absolutely.
took care of them? I
Yeah,
think if we
legitimate.
did that, we could potentially be on the right track. I mean, do you by any chance have a team behind you that you have support to help you?
Yes. Yes, our brokerage does provide a team, and I do have another support team of lenders and title that I work with.
All right, hang on a minute. Hang on, one more.
That's a lot of talking. I'm really in my head.
I'm
I
sorry.
it's okay. And when she's being naughty, she's doing a little moonwalking back and forth a little bit and throwing some curveballs. She's not being straight down the road. However, it's okay.
I haven't had this objection, is what it is.
Well,
So,
when you get
This
it,
is
you'll
how
be
you
ready.
get better.
right.
Here is where when they say those things, now is here. You don't even have to go into motivation right now. Motivation would make no sense. We're still attempting to get clarity. Here's where you're going next. Whoops. Go back to the model. Where are we on this?
Addressing?
Dressing, I think.
Well, we're getting clarity and we're almost skipping addressing because she's kind of laid out a menu for you. I want to talk to your clients. I want to talk to your Sunday school teacher. I want to do all these types of things, right? Right there. How do you close on that?
So Sandra, if I can get you a conversation with my past clients, if I can get you my list to close on my listings, previous listings, and talk to my Sunday school teacher, then are we ready to move forward?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes.
All right. That was right at the 4-minute mark, by the way, Denny.
Well, you got you see what I mean? If they're going to lay these criteria out there, if you think you're going to battle those by just saying answer, you're going to have to say, well, look, if I can show you that and you feel comfortable, are you ready to move forward? Doesn't that kind of let you know you're making progress? Because what if they say no? Well, then
there's something else, right?
There's something else.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I will just tell you that I have had to go through that before and do that. So that's why I did that to you mentally. So I'm not trying to be mean to you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good. I like challenges though. Thank
All
you.
right.
So, Denny, a couple things before we jump on to the next one real quick. Madeline, do a better job of controlling the conversation.
Yep.
Okay.
Sandra owned you because she was the one asking the questions. Speak with confidence. The first time you tried to isolate, you said, other than that, if I can supply you with this and this, can we do business?
Yes.
And-
Okay. Yeah.
Other than that, if I can supply this, will you list with me today? End strong, end down. All right. Take that confidence back that she was blatantly obvious trying to steal from you, because that's how Sandra is. All right. She is a confident stealer, and she will do nothing but make you better on these role plays. So
Yeah, she pulls wings when flies.
Yep.
Thank you guys. That's helpful.
All right. So next up is Tanner.
Good job, Mandalay.
Thanks.
Yeah, just the one statement, John, and you said it. I just want to underline it. When you take control of the conversation, how many sales have you had? You said I've had 10. How do you take control of the conversation?
So I'm not even sure I would answer that with I've had 10.
Okay,
I
well,
might
I would
answer
ask
that.
him-
Well, tell me more. What is it that's important to you about the number of sales? What are you using to gauge success?
Mhm.
Ryan.
I don't know. I'm a big guy. And as soon as I say something like that, people just get like turned off, like adversarial. Like, why does it matter how many sales I got? You know, I'm not going to say it that way, but that's the way it's going to be interpreted. So
Okay.
like, I get a lot of like that adversarial type of stuff. And it's not.
Is that a Cornhusker hat you're wearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't wear that to listing appointments. That will help.
That's what seals the deal every time. So I'm going to definitely do that every time now.
Yeah, but let me throw this out there too. And I don't know, Denny will probably shoot me down on this, but if you are new, back when I first started 20 years ago, my OP and team lead said, pull in our brokerage. And we were in a small brokerage. It's still a KW, but pull in the numbers from the whole brokerage. And that did help as well too. But I'm kind of like you, Ryan. I kind of come off a little bit of a smart ass on some of those things too. So sorry.
I would just one last thing very quickly. I would probably ask, what number would make you feel confident and comfortable?
Yeah, that's a good question. The point that I wanted to make you guys is if you're going to answer a question, and we can debate whether you should answer that question or not, you want to follow up with a question and take the offense instead of always being on the defense. How many years? Because Sandra was basically controlling it. All right, we'll do one. Then John, get ready. You'll be on deck. This is Tanner.
Yep.
1 to 12.
5.
Which one?
5.
Okay, John, give me a buyer or seller.
All right, who are we going to use this time as buyer or seller?
It's going to be a seller.
Quickly, somebody raise your hand. You're going to be a seller before Stacy steps up. Okay, Brian, you are a seller. You have just saved Stacy from Falcon. She thanks you.
All righty, here is the objection. You're going to get this. You're going to get this if you haven't had it already. You've just had your listing interview and you asked the closing question, and this is what the seller says. I want to interview more agents.
Are we person to person or are we on the phone right now?
We're all, great question. We are person to person.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Brian. Brian, I appreciate you, sharing that, and I understand you want to interview other agents. Other than that, after everything we went through, is there anything else basically stopping you from doing business with me today?
No, Tanner, it's just that I had planned on interviewing several agents.
Several agents, wonderful. And if I'm asking, what's important about interviewing all these agents, though?
Well, different agents seem to have different methods and philosophies on how they handle the sale, and I want to get some other perspectives.
Okay, so different perspectives. And what are you looking for exactly, like in an agent? What perspective are you looking for?
Well, I like to have a top producer handling my listing.
Top producer, and how would you define that top producer based on based on anything?
So let me just pause the timer just for a second, John. When we're handling a conversation, isn't it true that now when we're gonna have to go back and isolate again?
Okay.
So top producer, don't get clarity yet. Find out. All right, I've got that. I don't know what he means by that. However, other than top producer, what are you looking for? Unload. You got to get to the center of it before you start getting clarity. And during the conversation, you may have to do that more than one time. All right. So that just ask him, other than top producer, what else are you looking for?
Wonderful. All right, Brian, other than, the top producer, what else are you looking for?
Well, I want to be able to feel comfortable with the agent.
You want to be able to feel confident with the agent and comfortable. Wonderful. And I mean, based on everything we went, what makes you feel like you're not
Hang on. Are you at the center yet?
Okay, tell me a little more about.
No, not yet. You're still isolating.
Okay, and so you want to feel a little more comfortable.
Yes.
And
what else? What else?
What else? Like, is there anything else?
There you go.
Say no.
Say no.
No, that's about it.
Okay. There you go. Now you've isolated.
Wonderful. Now, if I show you how we can basically do it and you feel comfortable and confident, are you ready to move forward with me?
Tanner, if you could give me a sense of confidence, we might be going somewhere then, yes.
Wonderful. So let's do it then. I mean, did I have to do anything else? I'm sorry.
That's being pretty bold right there. Just say, okay, let's just trust me. So, all right. So that's fair. Brian's playing this right. Now you have no clarity. How do you do that?
Tanner, could you tell me a little bit more about yourself as far as your record so far this year, your production and your success on that?
Let's say that's already been that's gone over in the listing presentation. You're still one of the other agents because whatever reason you don't feel comfortable.
Okay. Well, Tanner, I just want to make sure my property is being marketed as best it can be. How can you tell me more about that?
So you want to make sure your property is being marketed at its best. Am I correct?
Yes, I need to know what's going to set you apart from any other agents I might be interviewing.
Wonderful question, Brian. I mean, other than the marketing part, though, is there anything else like basically keeping you from thinking of, I mean, other than that, is there anything else, any other concerns you might have just up front?
No, just making sure that this is being done to the very highest and best of your ability.
So absolutely understand. So you want to make sure your property is basically being marketed the best way.
It's got to be done the best it can be done. Yes.
Wonderful. And
20 seconds.
Wonderful. And how, I mean, what, man, I'm sorry. I mean,
let me help you.
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
That's okay. Let me land the plane in 20 seconds. Okay, Brian, at some point in time, you're going to have to make a decision based on what someone has told you and take a leap of faith that they are going to deliver on what they presented. How are you going to know what will have to happen for you to get to a point of confidence to believe what the agent's saying so you have that level of comfort?
Oh, when they can show me basically on paper, when they can show me their track record and their current success, I think I would be good with that.
And how long would that track record have to be?
Well, I would suppose a couple of years to be familiar with the business.
Well, I've been doing it 5 and I have a track record, yet you seem uncomfortable.
Well, we could talk about that more.
Yeah, it's getting a little sideways, and again, it's okay. One of the things I want you to know when you have a conversation with someone, this is very similar to the last one. If they say, let me just ask one more question. You said top producer, define that for me.
Well, to me, that means someone who's in their office, you know, they're towards the top of those with the highest level of sales. They're the ones who are showing the greatest amount of success.
Okay, and based on what I've shown you here, I've had 300 sales in the last 5 years, 100 sales in the last 5 years. Does that suggest basically when the average is maybe 5 for an agent per year?
Yes, I agree with you. I think that puts you right up there. Yes.
Is your fear of, when you're looking for the right agent, is your fear of hiring the wrong agent and being stuck?
Yeah, because I don't want my property to sit. I need to get it sold, and I just want to make sure I feel confident with the person I'm going with, that they can get the job done.
What if I can guarantee that? How would that make you feel?
I would sign right now.
I mean, there's a question that actually that bullet hit something.
Yes, if you can guarantee it, absolutely, I'm in.
So, I mean, John, you can put a bow in that.
That comes down to each one of your individual value propositions, guys. You know, that you're going to come back to the fishing sheet. We're going to do everything possible. We're going to show you that your property is being seen by thousands of people. If no one's biting, what does that tell you? Our marketing's working, but no one's biting. So that's going to be another part. That's going to bring it down to the pricing conversation. So the way I might handle that, Tanner, would be, all right, so it sounds to me like you want the highest and best price for your property, and it's marketed to everybody. So if I can show you that the marketing works, what price do you want to list at with me today? Pin them down on the price. Great. If we can agree on that price, are you ready to move forward?
That's a close.
Yep. Because Brian's been giving closing signals, but he's been tap dancing around it. One of the problems that and this is going to be a good segue, Denny, into our next conversation. One of the problems we have as agents is we get it in our head where a conversation is going to go, or we think because of our experience or our lack of experience that we understand the viewpoint of the person on the other side of the table. And that's how Denny and I came up with this whole thing. We need to add clarity in here, because even if you isolate, you don't necessarily understand, because their particular viewpoint, their history is different than ours. So that being said, physically raise your hand if you've ever worked with a first-time buyer before. Come on, everybody better be raising hands. We've all worked with a first-time buyer before, right? I want you to come off microphone. Who knows why first-time buyers are apprehensive to purchase a home today? Go ahead, Ryan.
They're fearful for the interest rates. They see the media saying that there's going to be a crash of 20% in the housing market. They read on social media from their friends that they bought last year and they're upside down their house. They see on the social media groups that, you know, that there's so much happening and so much upheaval in the real estate market, and they don't actually talk to anybody. They just read everything and see everything on the media.
So we can kind of backwards into that. And Denny chuckled because your very first response was Denny's response this morning.
Right.
And most buyers like, oh, I'm not paying that interest rate. I'm going to challenge that in a second. And let's go back to the market conditions. You know, if you look at Denny's location, Augustina's location, my location, Brian's location, guess what? We just got slapped around 2 weeks ago by the angry hand of God. And guess what? The day after the redheaded stepchild known as Ian left, sorry, Shannon, I didn't mean to really pick on redheads all that much. The day after Ian left, property was going under contract here in Southwest Florida. So that is a preconceived notion in our heads as agents that the market is a problem. Actually 3/4 of Fort Myers Beach doesn't even exist. It's on the other side of the bay. And people are still doing business. So market conditions mean nothing. Now, Ryan, you hit it. Very first point, interest rates. Write this down. First-time buyers don't care about interest rates. Why do you think I say that?
They have no background knowledge of what interest rates were when they bought the first time.
Dude, Denny, send him tickets to Greece. This is the smartest guy we've seen on here in a long time. Ever since Bryant got himself, we got to get with that wayward child, figure out where he is. But that is a damn fine answer, to quote the drill sergeant in Forrest Gump.
That's why the Huskers. That's because of the Huskers.
It's the Huskers. First-time buyers, the only thing they're comparing to is rent. First-time buyers, when they're purchasing property, are purchasing cash flow. So a real simple question is, can you buy this place or a place for the same or less than what you're renting it for? Now, how many of you know your rental markets? And you're like, well, wait a second. It costs more to rent than it does to own. Guess what? Here in Southwest Florida, it costs way more to rent than it does to own. Way more. Yet people are still renting. And I'm going to guess that there's markets on this call here where you can look and say, yeah, you know what? That house is renting for $2,500 a month. They can own it for $2,200 a month. Why wouldn't they do it? Ryan.
I'm going to play devil advocate now. So if you're higher in a market and the interest rates are higher and the rent is lower, are you going, handle that objection for us?
Okay, let's play it, Ryan. Ready?
Okay.
I'm timing in 4 minutes.
All right. So Ryan, I understand that, you know what, this house, if you're going to own it, is going to cost you $2,000 a month, but you can rent it for $1,750 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: at the end of the year,
you're the teacher. You got to be followed.
Fair enough. Okay. So, all right. So Ryan, other than your concern about this, is there anything else that's keeping you from moving forward?
As long as I can get qualified, I'd be okay with it.
Okay. So as long as you can qualify, and I know you're concerned about the rent being actually less than owning on paper, is there anything keeping you from being able to go ahead and move forward?
Yeah, just like I said, as long as I can get qualified, I'm renting or buying for me, it's whatever's cheaper for me right now.
Okay. Define cheaper.
Less coming out of my bank account.
Now that was beautiful. That's clarity. Remember, don't assume what cheaper means to him. So nice job, John. Keep going.
Okay. So coming out of your bank account. Awesome. So it's Ryan, it sounds that money management is important to you. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was military, so like being on a budget is important to me because now as working in Department of Defense, I only have a certain amount every month.
Okay, excellent. And just out of curiosity, Ryan, is future wealth important also?
Absolutely. Like I got to save for retirement. That's why I'm working a government job.
Okay, great. So let's take you got two separate sides here. You've got the rent versus own, and then you said that you're retired military. Let's use that 1 second. Let's go to the rent versus own. So cash flow it's going to cost you about $250 a month more to own versus rent.
Okay.
Okay, so that's about $3,000 a year. So
Okay.
when you're renting, how much of the money do you get back at the end of the year?
It goes to somebody else who's paying that mortgage, I presume.
So if you're paying the mortgage, yeah, it costs you a little bit. If you're paying the mortgage, how much of that $2,000 every month do you save in the form of equity in your property?
I would have to look at the numbers on it, but I'm probably going to save some depending on, interest rate and what the principal is going to be. I probably make a little bit per month because, home prices are probably going to go up in the long run.
Okay. So, give you an example, guys. $2,000 a month right now is a $300,000 mortgage. All right. And you're going to be saving on average your first year, just your first year, $250 a month in principal paid down every year or every month.
1 minute.
So your extra that you're paying in rent, you're saving and putting in your own pocket. So at the end of a year, it's a wash. Every year after that is money in the bank for you. And did you know that as a veteran, you can buy this house no money down with preferred rates?
I have heard about that. Yeah.
Would you like to take advantage of that?
Yeah. If the numbers make sense, let's do it.
Did the numbers make sense, the rent versus own comparison that we just went over?
Yeah. I see what you were saying on that piece of it. Yeah.
All right, then let's go ahead and do it.
All
Awesome.
right.
So you did that in 3.5 minutes. Now, let me ask before we go to the guys that have their hands up, we'll give you an opportunity. John is a number guy. He loves numbers.
Yeah, I put the amortization schedule up on so these are real numbers, guys. It's $300,000 at 7%. The first month you're saving $245.91. I have all this stuff at my fingertips. Yes.
Oh
I'm a
my
geek.
God. He's breaking out in hives because he's looking at numbers. All right. So most people aren't whacked like that. So I want to ask somebody who's experienced here, what's the other way to do it if you're not a numbers person and they're not a numbers person? Sandra, I'm going to come to you. You're experienced. All right. And what would be another way to do it? We haven't talked a lot about this. I will even give you a hint
Thank you.
right here.
Oh, I can't
They were
see.
strictly talking about numbers and equity, and some people just don't relate to that as much as what?
I don't know. What are you getting at?
What will that do for you? Right on the screen
I
behind
can't-
Denny.
I'm having a hard time seeing it. Sorry. Okay, who am I talking to? John, Ryan, what would that do for you, Ryan? If you're buying as opposed to renting?
What would that do for me?
Why are you even considering it?
So I can paint the walls and not have to talk to somebody else about it.
What else?
I've always wanted to own a home. Sorry, sometimes I get a little sarcastic. That's just me. I just
That could happen.
Welcome to my world.
I've always
And dude,
always
just so
wanted
you
to
know, your
own a
hat,
home, I guess. So
Brian,
it's better than buying somebody
Brian,
else's.
Ryan, has anyone ever told you your hat's on backwards? Your hat's on
Yeah,
backwards.
me and Ken Griffey Jr. both.
Where I'm going with this, Sandra, is this. There's a reason they are considering owning. Find out what it is. Then you put that reason over here and the $250 over here. So is it worth $8 a day to have that extra bedroom and have a garage that you can put your wife can pull in and not have to worry about walking in the rain? That's
Gotcha.
all. You got to
All
go back to motivation.
95% of the conversations are going to go the way Denny just went. The beauty of Ryan is he's a numbers guy and he went right down where it just is in my comfort zone. But yeah,
But that's
every
what you always-
95%,
you
I
always
know, right?
talk numbers, John, too. You always do that. Whereas, if it was me and Ryan, I would not be talking numbers with him like that.
Yep.
So,
He opened that door and I went right through it. Most conversations are going to be, that's awesome. So what's this going to do? How's this going to affect your family if you
how's it
own the
going
house?
to make you feel to be able to buy a home and not have to rent, and you can go paint every wall any color you want to paint it? How's that going to make your family feel?
All right, so good job on that. And so who's next up? We got 2 more hands to go up. We got 2 more quick role plays. Who's next, John?
Bettina.
Bobina.
on.
All right, you get to pick a number between 1 and 11.
Okay, have you done 4 yet?
Oh my gosh, this is the hardest one.
No! Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Then I need a buyer or seller, John.
That's gonna be, you know what? I gave Stacy a hall pass last time, not this time. Or did she? No, there she is. She just switched on the screen. Stacy is going to be our client. Is she a buyer or a seller?
It's up to her.
What do you want to be, Stacy? Buyer or seller?
Let's do seller.
All right, there you go.
All right, here we go. Got the timer ready. You are at the table and you're a seller. She just went through the listing presentation, but Bettina, right?
Yes.
And you say, I'm concerned about the market.
Okay, I'm concerned about the market.
Okay, I can completely understand that. It's that these are confusing times.
I get it. Don't embellish. You guess a bad habit.
Okay,
You just said it's confusing times. It's actually very, so I understand. Go.
I understand. Can you tell me specifically what it is about the market that concerns you?
I'm going to coach you. Hang on. I'm going to coach you. What's next on the model? You're seeking clarity before isolation.
Okay. Okay. Other than the market, what is it that concerns you?
Right now, I think it's just the market. I've got to get past that before I can move forward.
Okay. Now I can ask her specifically, what is it about the market that's concerning to you?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Mainly just, my neighbor sold for so much more money, and now you're telling me that I don't have that opportunity. We have the same floor plan, same everything. So I'm confused as to why my neighbors were able to sell in February for $50,000 more than I can.
Okay, I can understand that. I was going to ask her when they sold. Okay, so they sold in February. We are in October. What is it that you have seen about the difference in the market since February that's concerning to you?
Well, just the fact that now I can't sell my house for as much as my neighbors did.
Okay, I can understand that. If I could present you with some information regarding what's been happening in the market and why.
Let's assume she's right.
Okay.
The market's falling.
Okay. Okay. I'm stuck.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Look behind me.
Okay. I can understand your concern there. What would it do for you if we could sell your home now? What would that do for you and your family?
Just meaning time frame, like what if we could sell your house in 30 days? What is that going to do for my family?
Yes, yes.
Well, it's just going to free me up to go get a bigger, better one.
Okay, so you're interested in upgrading your home. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, getting a bigger, better one. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, if we could
That's the second. That's the logic. Ask the second question. This is the emotion. What would that do for you, Stacy?
Got it. Okay. How will that make you feel if we can upgrade your home and provide your family with something that's better suited for you guys?
It'll be nice. At least we can, not be on top of each other all the time. We can have separate spaces.
That's great. That's great. I totally understand that. Well, if I could provide you that opportunity to upgrade your home, what would stop you from moving forward with me today?
Just the price. The price of the home is the only thing that's going to stop me.
Okay.
Perfect. Go to pain. What is the pain of a seller waiting in a falling market?
Okay. Okay, let me see how I want to phrase this. What if, how would you feel if you waited because you're concerned about the sales price? Oh, I don't know if I want to say that, but how would you feel if you waited right now and interest rates, came down within a few months, and then you're putting the power back into the seller's hands when you go to buy. Right now, you might have some more opportunity if
Time.
I think you went sideways on that.
Okay.
So you're on the right. Here's the question. So
I used that from a call yesterday. I'm sorry.
yeah, you're mixing apples and oranges here. So let me ask you, Stacy, really fast. How much time, John?
We're out. We just clocked the 4.
All right, so give me 30 seconds. This would be the question. So you said that you could have gotten more for your house in February and March. Is that right, Stacy?
Correct.
And your neighbors are selling for less now?
Well, none of my other neighbors have listed.
Okay, well, if that is in fact true, which way is the market going, up or down?
I'm not sure that I know that.
Well, if you can sell it for less now than in February, that does suggest a direction. Which direction is that?
Well, it's going down on my street, I guess.
If that in fact is true, then would your house not be worth less tomorrow?
It could be, I guess. Yeah, it could be.
And so if in a falling market, do you want to, is waiting in your best interest?
I don't think waiting is in my best interest, no.
So how would you like to have your cake and eat it too?
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
So if your home sells for $1 less and you're going up, and this is how John would play it, and you want to get a nicer, bigger home, so your home is worth $1 less if you wait. However, the house you want to buy is worth $2 less. Is that winning or losing?
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
See, that's where I would go. That's the
Proud of you,
thing.
Denny, because that's exactly where I would have gone with it.
I know you, John. It has a number involved in it. Okay, last one. We got time for one more. We got whose hand was up? Where'd he go? There was a gentleman. Oh, there he is. Luke.
Yeah, Luke is up.
Oh no, it's not Luke. It's the other one.
Oh, it's Luke. I just
Okay,
changed
Luke.
my name. I'm using Rich's link.
All right. 1
Oh.
to 10.
And I was going to practice my Greek, but there she is. She's on the bottom. All right, good.
All
So
right.
I'm either going to pronounce this. I'm going to pronounce the name really well or really poorly for his buyer or seller. Ms. Rogers, is it Anastasia or Anastasia?
Anastasia.
See, I've got cousins actually not too far from you that Anastasia, so I had to ask.
Okay. We got you are going to be 1 to 11. Luke.
Let's do 1.
1. All right. Well, this is number 1. We've actually done this one before. Let's go. Anastasia. You are this is your seller. You're at the table, and Luke went through the presentation, and your objection is my house isn't ready.
Okay.
So there you go, Luke. Go 4 minutes.
Okay. So your house isn't ready. What does that look like? What do you
Model right behind me.
Okay. I see your house is not ready.
I understand, right?
Understand. Yeah. So
Next,
tell me,
isolate.
other than that, is there any reason why you would not move forward and list your home?
Doesn't this make sense, you guys, to follow this? It's so, I mean, you want to get all that on the table. All right, good. Keep going.
I love this. It's good practice because it puts you on the spot. So other than that, Anastasia, is there any other reason why you wouldn't push forward and go ahead and list the home?
I mean, I just don't feel comfortable listing my home at this point. It's not ready. I don't want people walking through my house. There are things projects I haven't completed. No, there's no other reason. But again, this is my home. I want to put my best foot forward and get the most money I can for it.
I see. And how long do you think until you would have it ready to list?
Well, I'm having a really hard time getting contractors to, meet deadlines and even some to show up for work. So I don't really know what that timeline looks like.
Mm-hmm. What would that mean though, if you were to fix it up and then sell it? What does that mean for you?
For me, it's just like pride of ownership. I can know that I'm
passing over my home complete and to the next home buyer, and I don't have to worry about, leaving my problems for someone else.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. If it were possible for you to sell it now without having to do the work that you're imagining and get what you want to upgrade, how would that make you feel?
I mean, it would be nice to not have that problem anymore. But again, I just would feel so bad for the people that are buying my problem.
I see. I have a couple guys that I could recommend if you wanted us to have somebody else come in and just touch up these items. Do you think that if I send in a couple of my guys, we could have them get it done in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I'd be willing to hear them out for sure. I'm over this project.
I feel like I'm derailing. Am I derailing it? I'm sorry.
I don't want you to do that, Luke. I don't. Where's her pain?
Yeah.
First of all, we're kind of getting short on time, but there's a motivation. However, where's the pain? She said, so let's just stop a minute and let's debrief. Now, Luke, tell me what you heard. What's holding her back?
She's feeling for the buyers that would move into the place.
Okay, she said that a couple times. She talked about a pride of ownership. She wants to put her best foot forward. So it has to do with her identity a little bit, right? And she feels bad for the buyers moving into a house because that's the way she would want to move into a house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep it right there. There's a pain point if you think about it. So it would be something like this. So Anastasia, so if you're concerned about, I mean, you're concerned about how the buyers feel when they move in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What if there were a buyer out there that really, they're kind of handy and they have their own specific desires? This house meets their needs. Now you want to fix it up to the way you think a buyer would want it. And when that buyer comes in and they see what you have done, they're going to think, oh, I wish the seller wouldn't have done that. What if they would like to be able to walk in and take the house just the way it is, and they would thank you for it? How would that make you feel?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, maybe that would be nice. Yeah, they could.
That's what I want you guys to see. You've got to help them see what they're not seeing. Instead of having all these spider webs and all these different conversations, she said it a couple times. I have a pretty good idea. It has to do with her identity. And in her mind, she likes to walk into a home that's all done. But how many sellers have gone out there and fixed up their house and it's not what the buyers want and the buyers aren't happy? So you just have to slow down a little bit and listen to the conversation at 0.25 speed and look for the angle to kind of say what you're not seeing. Where is the pain? So when you can ask a question and they say, I've never thought of that, you've made progress. You've actually put a little dynamite on that brick wall and you have weakened it, if not blown it open. Y'all hearing me on that?
Yeah.
That's
all right, Denny. We got time for a few ahas here. I know you like wrapping up with what we're taking away from the call today. What are you walking away today with this? And man, this is a really good point. Big or small, what do you got?
So 5 clear questions that you mentioned to get clarity from the customer.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary.
I have a question. So Denny, if you say that and say, what if a buyer wants to, accept your property the way it is now? What are you going to say to the seller when they say, yeah, but they're going to come in and lowball me on that as well, too?
Well, what if that's not the case, Sandra? You know why people lowball?
They want a good deal.
Well, they're not in love with the house.
Okay.
So how about you let me find somebody who's in love with the house?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a big aha.
I have so many inappropriate things I can say about that. I'm gonna just
I don't
table
even know
them.
what to say right now.
What else? Any other ahas? Then we'll move on.
I like the focus on I think the focus on clarity, that's a great addition to this, because, you know, if, for those of you that have seen me on here before, you know, I get way too wordy and I know it, but that's just a really nice reminder for me to tighten it up and just be more direct, keep it simple, not overcomplicate it. So I think the clarity part's great. Thank you.
Practice it on your spouse. When your loved one walks up to you, maybe it's your daughter or your wife, and says, you know, I think I'm looking for a Chanel purse. Awesome, I understand. Tell me more about the purse you want me to buy you. Get clarity. No gift cards to Target.
But it is isolate first, right? For sure. Like isolate first as much as you can and then do the clarity.
Yeah, I mean, don't dig a 10-foot hole until you figure out where you want to dig it.
Okay, that was my aha, because I tend to, when they say something, I try to figure out what that is first, and that might not even be it. So
Yep. That's a great aha. John, you did an awesome job. You had an awesome aha, awesome presentation on our meeting today and whatever. Take us home.
All right, guys, you know Hill Street Blues. I never get it right because I never watched the show. I am old enough to watch it, but be careful out there, and we will see you next week.
There you go.
Later, guys.
We can help you.
Jen, thank you. Bye.
Bye.